Hey guys, welcome back to Exit 45. We're moving on from the doors. We got them installed, latching, all those good things. So I'm really happy about that. So let's move on. We got to get the glass in, some different things like that. So probably gonna have to do some rebuilding of those vent windows. I'm assuming. I haven't even looked at those. So we'll jump on that right now. All right, let's go. All right, let's jump over here. We're going to go ahead and work on these vent windows. So I don't have any idea how these work. So we'll have to dig into this slowly and figure out what's going on and see if we can get some new rubbers in here. This has some strip gears in it I'm going to have to figure out. You can see them right there. So when you get it all the way closed, it doesn't want to open because that's what you're hitting. You don't have any gears there. So I have to see if that's something I can get as well. So here's the rubbers that I got. So you can see there. And that's the part that's going to go, along here. And then I got these. And those are going to go right along there. And I got all this from Bird's Nest. So I think first things first, I'm probably going to look at tearing this apart, get this all out of here, see if I can get the window out so I can get to the seals and get them out of there. I got my book, so hopefully there's some good information in there. So let's get at it. All right, well, let's start taking this here, and then there's some bolts on the other side we'll try as well. All right. All right, let's get those. All right, we'll just keep those together. All right, now I got to figure out how do we get this window out of here. Not really sure. I'll figure it out and I'll let you know. All right, so the first thing is I had to pull this out from underneath there. It was like that. Well, anyways, it's sitting in there like that. It looks like it's in that groove and it's stopping this from moving back and forth. So pull that out. I'll keep all these together so that we can figure out where they go. And I'm only taking one of these apart at a time. My other one will still be together. So I'll still be able to see what one looks like all together. Now, got to come out somehow. So where it looks like we're going to try and get this rubber piece starting to come out and see if that gets me any room to work on getting this window out of here. You see in here, there's the shaft. I just cut the gasket window seal here off around it so I can see what's going on in here and try and figure out what needs to be done. I don't know if I just need a little bit of room to pull it so I can pull it down. This will come out of there so then I can pull the window out, but I'm guessing right now, so let me just keep messing around with it. So I figured it out. So I got the gasket pulled away from here enough where I can move this around more. And if I pull it down, oh, there you go. You see this part up here comes out of the spot where it's in. Yeah, right up there. That's where it was. And then this whole thing can just slide on out of there. There we go. You can see here, this thing just goes in here, and this groove right here is where it locks inside here. And it's just a pain to get out because this is really hard and dried up, but you can see it's coming. Once you get to this portion down here, there are some screws that you have to find and work on getting those out. All right, you can see once you get the screws out, there you go, it just comes right on out of there. And then they are just little guys. There you go, and there's probably a couple more up there. So let me get those out and we'll pull that out. All right, there was a screw. You can see the hole down there. It was right down there. So I pulled that. That's loosened this whole thing. And then that comes right out. So there's the old one. So we got it out. So there we go. That's half the battle, right? All right. Okay, so now we need to get this channel out of the way so we can get to some rivets that are in here holding this rubber strip on. And you can just take this piece here. Let me show you here. This long piece here, you can just tap it up and out of there. And you can see here, it just comes right out. All right, so there's that. And then you can see in here, let me see if I can get you, there's a rivet there, right there, right there. So now we'll have to drill out those rivets to get this out of here. All right, guys, so I got 3 of the 4 rivets out to get this this rubber piece here that goes in here out. And I just got 1 more down here, and we'll have it out. There you go. And you can see all the rivet holes through here. All right, so we should be able to go ahead and get the new one on. And it came with some new rivets. So let's get after it. Okay, so we're figuring out how to get these rivets squeezed in here, and I think we got an answer. These are the rivets that came with it. I showed you those. They're tiny. But I don't have any way of squeezing these in there. So what I decided I'm going to do is I am using these blind rivets or pop rivets here. And then once I get it in, I can squish down the tail end here so it's more flush and it doesn't interfere with the this felt channel here that's going to go in there. There it is right there.
Oh, there it is.
And we'll go ahead and now we'll flatten that out. We're going to do that by putting this bar back here and using this in a C-clamp, and we're going to just squeeze it together and flatten that out so I have room for my felt channel that goes in here. All right, lots of frustration and throwing things, but it's in. So I used the rivets that came with it on, just recap, I got the rivets that came with it on each end. I was able to squish them down and get them to hold. And I used pop rivets in the middle here where I could get to them and squished them down flatter so that they wouldn't get in the way of the felt channel here when that goes in. We got this done, so the next thing to do will be to work on getting this glass back in, and along with the new rubber seal. Okay. All right, so this will go in like this, just like that. And there are 4 screws that go in along here, and you can see I've got one pushed through the rubber there, and they're just little tiny guys. So when you look at your new piece of rubber, you can see in there a spot, that open spot, that's where the screw goes in. You got to push it through there. All right, so now let's get the window in, and the rubber has this groove in it on both sides, and that's going to lock into a place that's inside here. But you can't put that in yet because we need to get this in. So I got to shove this through, and then through the hole here, and then try to put this in. Then we're going to want to feed this through here. Okay. There we go. All right, I'm going to try and get this all to lock in there. No. You can see here, we're trying to lock this down into the groove down in there. You can see I've got the rubber piece kind of set in here, and on this end it goes back behind this. So I got that back in there, so that's ready to go. So we can start to secure and screw that down. I think the next thing I'm going to do is get this here up into the hole here and get this window kind of set where it's supposed to be, and then we'll work on setting this last bit of rubber. There we go, and it's in there. Let's go in here and get all these screws screwed down and get this rubber along here set. On this end piece goes there, and then you can see right there is where we need to line up for the next screw hole there. All right, so the last thing we got to do before we work on the crank mechanism is I need to get this other new piece of rubber in, and it goes right in place of that. Right here we're going to have to drill out, and then we'll just rivet in this piece. So let's drill out a rivet and put this in. Now we're going to get get the old one out. There it goes. There's what's left of the old one. Not a stitch of rubber left on it. Here, it goes like that. Yeah. And there you go. We got the rivet hole all lined up. We'll go ahead and put a rivet in. Rivet in, not a rivet. That's a frog. There we go. It's all in there. All right, we got that portion done, so let's work on the crank mechanism. All right, so this is our crank is gonna go on right here. Goes on like that, gets coupled from here to here. But as you can see, we're missing some teeth where somebody has cranked this down too hard and stripped the teeth off. Luckily, they sell these, and I picked up 2 more, and so we're going to go ahead and rebuild this and put it all together. Okay, you can see it a little bit better now, the damage. All right, so we got the new one in. The old bushings put back on, and there we go. I suppose we've got to figure out the timing of these gears. So I assume this piece here has to line up, so it lines up with the window piece here. Can you see it? Got it. There you go. Now it lines up. You can see how they're lined up. So this, look at that, guys. See, it didn't even pay attention, but
It's got to go on.
you got
first.
this one, and then when you look to that side, it's this way. And this side is this way. I've got them both lined up so they're the same. So I need it lined up where they're not the same. All right, so if I got it there, that works. You can see I've only got a tooth or 1 or 2 teeth showing here, and it's almost at the stop on this side. So I think they got this set up so it's kind of foolproof, so guys like me can figure it out. It can only, I think, go one way. I was afraid I had to have the spool this way or this way, but it's kind of making it obvious for me. If I go the other way, then this piece won't line up on there. All right, so I think we got it. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. All right, so you also have these plastic shims or whatever they are that this will ride on. And so you have 2 different types. This one goes on this side, and you can see there's a thicker and a thinner. Well, there's a dent or indent right here. So if you go in, come on. There we go. There. See how that fits? And then this here also has a thicker and a little bit thinner side, and it goes on just like that. Then we'll come from the other side and put these screws in. Okay, and now we got our rebuilt gear mechanism and our coupler. So we're going to want to slide that on, and then we'll bolt this in. and test it out.
Yeah,
There we go.
looks perfect.
And back. To close. Look at that. One rebuilt vent window. Let's get the other one. Okay, guys. So this window channel goes on like this, and it just squeezes inside of here. Anyways,
Wow.
irrelevant how that goes on at this point. We got to take all the felt out of here. It's just brittle and breaking, so we're going to get it all out. And then I order some new felt that will glue in there. So, never done that before, so this should be fun. Can't keep it, so. There you go. So now that we've got this all completely cleaned out and ready to go, we've got our felt cut to length, ready to go. And we're going to use a stir stick to put it right into the channel and kind of push it down in there. We are going to use some of this adhesive and stick this in there with this adhesive. And then you guys can watch the struggle, I guess. Yeah, he's not doing it. He can laugh. Let's get the other one. There you go. That one's done. Oh, there we go, guys. Got the vent windows all done. I'm going to keep them closed for a while, make sure these rubbers get a memory, you know, so that's not so hard to get them in and out of there anymore. But anyways, new gear, new, you know, cleaned everything, lubed everything, got new felts in here, so I think we're good to go. All right, we're going to call this one a video and move on. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get in there, and we're going to get all the glass in there, get these vent windows installed, and get the side mirrors installed. So you want to catch that one. If you've never done it before, maybe give you some help. I don't know. Either way, that's the next video, and I'm going to get started on that actually right now. So I'll see you on that one. Bye.